Hot triple pepper jack cheese. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good to see everybody tonight. Clerk, roll call.
Trustee Sewell.
I'm here.
Stewart.
Here.
Ball.
Present.
Gunther.
Yes.
Supervisor Cox.
Here. Okay, we'll start with public comment. If you have a public comment, you can step to the podium, and you have up to 5 minutes. Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda, and we'll be approving items A through E this one. Clerk?
Right, so you got the regular board meetings from last month. Then you have reports from the supervisor, the assessor, the highway commissioner, and myself.
Motion to approve consent agenda A through E.
Second.
Okay, if no other questions, roll call.
Trustee Stewart.
Yes.
Ball.
Aye.
Gunther.
Yes.
Sewell.
Yeah.
Supervisor Cox.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, next is the approval of bills. And just want to make sure that everybody got their budget to performance. We're doing really good on everything. We're over 60% of the way through. And so that really helps to kind of see where things are. But Jim, you want to go through them?
Yep, so first thing up under general assistance, we had expenditures for the month of $729.75.
Motion to approve. I'll second that.
Okay, no questions. Roll call.
Trustee Ball.
Aye.
Gunther.
Yes.
Sewell.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Supervisor Cox.
Yes.
Then under road and bridge, we had expenditures of $157,807.80.
I motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay. And I appreciate Brad reaching out beforehand with a question. And you got that answer, Brad? Okay. No other questions? Roll call.
Trustee Gunther.
Yes.
Sewell.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Ball.
Yes.
Supervisor Cox.
Yes.
There was nothing under the road and bridge equipment fund this month. And then on the town fund, we had expenditures of $151,823.01.
And just want to mention that that's way higher than normal. We have an extra payroll in there, which is 30, and then extra health insurance in there. And then we also paid a lot of bills, some big ones for the AC units and things like that. So just let you know why usually it comes in right under 100 for the month. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion to approve. I'll second that.
Okay, roll call.
Trustee Sewell.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Ball.
Yes.
Gunther.
Yes.
Supervisor Cox.
Yes.
And finally, the expenditures for the month for the senior center were $10,639.50.
And on this one, I did send this out today as well. I hope you guys like what she's doing with everyday, tracking. It's still a work in progress because I keep asking, well, why don't the numbers exactly match? And it's because they buy in bulk, But this month, I was really happy to actually see that and this is on actual dollars, we deposited more than we actually spent on actual dollars on our lunch fund, so I was happy with that. Also, we did a transfer out of the senior fund to the building fund. Our electric bills, as a lot of people's power bills, are really high. And I'll address that later on, but that's all coming out of the building fund, so that's some of our biggest expenses.
Just one question
Yep.
for me, and I know it's just a matter
Yep.
of bookkeeping.
Yep.
Are we still moving? I noticed there's a Gordon Foods on one and the other.
There's a Gordon Foods on the building
On
fund?
the building and one on the rec.
That shouldn't be.
Okay.
That shouldn't be, and I'll
I
make
thought
sure.
we were gonna move it.
Right,
Okay.
no,
It's just-
everything should come out of the breakfast and lunch fund, that is breakfast and lunch,
I thought so.
So I'll check on that, thanks for doing that. Okay, if no other questions, did we do
Nope, not yet.
first and second? motion?
I'll motion.
Okay,
Second.
all right, roll call.
Trustee Stewart?
Yes.
Ball?
Yes.
Gunther?
Yes.
Sewell?
Yes.
Supervisor Cox?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next up is reports by officers and committees. We have our highway commissioner here, Kathy.
Kathy?
Well, I just got back today. Jim and I attended a TY convention this weekend, and very informative on a lot of different areas. So I recommend next year more attending than just Jim and I, but it's a really educational seminar, and it brings a lot to you. But I mean, you know, I've been in it for how many years, and everything I went to, I learned a little bit something new at each one. So.
I'd asked Jim today, do they still show the video of the awful meeting and like the?
No, it's a lot bigger than that. I mean, they've got 7, 8 sessions going at
Yeah.
one time, you know, and it's more towards legislative, budgeting, highway commissioners, clerks' duties,
Yeah.
all different kinds of, educational, you know, seminars that they have. But it's a really good event, and you meet a lot of people throughout the state, which is nice, which gives you a lot of ideas too. So it was good. But anyway, so I haven't had a chance. I talked to them today, but I haven't had a chance to go down. But I know that they had a meeting yesterday, and I called, and I haven't had anybody get back with me yet. Meeting about the Lebanon Road project out on Lebanon Road. So that is going out for bid, and we'll find out more on that later as to who will get the bids. As soon as they do, they have to start taking down the trees, and that's what I've been told at this time. So other than that, we're out, you know, doing all the things that we do this time of year. We're also working on the canal. We got a program with that we have it in the machine, so it's making the machines work, and the guy's not having to think about what he's doing, which makes it a lot quicker. Not that it's quick, but you know, it'll take a lot less time to do. Beyond that, the only thing I got to say is I read the city scoop, and I appreciate you putting information out there, but we have to make it clear that even though the city of Collinsville is part of Collinsville Township, not all of it is. So part of the city of Collinsville is St. Clair County, and they are not part of Collinsville Township. So when we do address something as to that, we do need to make it clear that it's Madison County residents only. Because it's confusing to people enough as it is that aren't in government to understand all the different, you know, political channels that there are, so.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, but beyond that, I don't really think I've got anything else to say.
I appreciate, I reached out to Kathy, I got a phone call, and it was about a train that stalled out on Lebanon Road, and this happens, I guess, once, twice a year. It's been going on for a long time. And
30-something years that I know of.
and folks can't get in and out of that neighborhood at all. And so, what do you, is
It
it?
affects us too.
Right, well, this is the actual, I guess, neighborhood entrance and exit.
Well, they
But you
gotta
can
go
at least
all the
get
way
out and go
around.
to Fairview if you wanted to, right?
Yeah.
You can make a left.
Yeah.
Right, and so, but anyway,
Yeah, this is Lemaggy Heights, and there's only one way
Yeah.
in and one way out.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, the problem is the railroad.
Yep.
And after dealing with the railroad on this Lebanon Road project, you don't really deal with anybody, they do what they wanna do. And it's a really tough thing to deal with, and, there aren't any other options to get in and out of there. We looked at plats, and the trains just don't match.
well, and
up
you
for that.
talked to the city of Collinsville,
Talked
and then
to
you
the
got back with
city.
me, and then.
Yeah, their train isn't, which they just spent over $1 million to get that dump cleaned up from the EPA, so they don't want anything else going in there because that could cause problems with that. But the trains out there are definitely, you know, not conducive to putting a road anywhere, you know, to get in and out of there, which we're not there to build a road, but, you know, I've looked at other options, but through the years, and we haven't been able to find any.
Right,
The biggest thing would be to just call and keep hounding the railroad, but, you know, like I said, it's not gonna get you.
Call that a brick wall.
we couldn't get anywhere with the railroad on this project with the ICC involved, so.
Well, I think what you mentioned, I think is maybe the best thing is when we talk to a congressman or something, we actually bring this up.
Yeah,
You know, that it's
you
a
have to
problem
talk
because
about
it's a
it to
federal issue,
everybody.
you know, so anyway.
And the homeowners need to really start hounding people. I don't mean it that way, but, you know, they need to talk to people too, because it's them that it affects. And, you know, they need to get their voice heard.
Thanks, Kathy.
Uh-huh.
Okay, our assessor presented a report, and we'll go to the trustees. Yeah, everybody good?
Saturday was great. I know I said it once already, but I'll say it again.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, sorry I couldn't make it. Had some wildlife things I was taking care of. But it looked like you guys had a good time. It looked like you had a good turnout. Good job, everybody. Also appreciate the email today with all the documents you sent, in addition to what we typically get to. So that's good.
Thanks. All right. Senior Center, I'll take this. I'm going to kind of go off the top of my head here. So we had, it's on the sheet how many we've served this month. I believe it was just over 1,200. We've done a lot of great Volkswagen trips. Our ribbon cutting was excellent. And tomorrow we have our big Thanksgiving meal, and she's got 6 turkeys going, ham. We have already over 100 people signed up, so it's going to be great. And I think everything is really rolling good right now. So now we've had meetings, all of us, and now it's just time to try to really perfect what we're doing in all areas, with work, with planning, and everything. But I think everybody is really positive, happy, and I feel really good about the direction that we're going right now with the senior center. So, okay, moving forward to old business, and it's the parking lot. And the reason I had to put this on there is I was a trustee before this, and it was on the agenda literally every meeting for 4 years. And I'm like, why, when it's done, should we take it off? So hopefully this is the last meeting we'll ever see the parking lot on there. But it consumed a lot of my last month, the day-to-day things. There was always little things that needed addressed, as you see in the report. But I thought the ribbon cutting went off really well. I'm really happy that the CHS band brought that up, and they were able to come right after the parade. If a lot of people didn't know, we had sponsored them, and it was Jim's idea to say, hey, maybe mention they would do the ribbon cutting. And so I didn't realize that band, like sports teams, they actually have a season. So this was the last day of their season. And so, because I was going to do it on Tuesday after our bingo, and they said, well, our season's over, but we could come right after the parade. And talked with Kathy, and you know, the Legion event wasn't until noon. I said, yeah, that'd work out. And so they added so much. It was very patriotic. There was a lot of veterans in the audience, and so I thank the CHS band for coming for that. We're waiting on the canopy folks. I'm told it's going to happen shortly. And then right after that, Oats and Associations is going to come and do a walkthrough with RCS. There's a few little issues to make sure, though, that everything that was agreed on and up to code happened, you know, the checklist. So that's where we're at with the parking lot. So, on the next meeting, or in the following meetings, I was going to do it this meeting, but it's kind of a long one. I really want to discuss what our plans are with the other ones. You know, what we want to do as a board, and we're going to have to figure that out. So, all right, next item, update on the Volkswagen. As per last meeting, both drivers got their physicals. I want to thank especially Bill for doing some digging on exactly how the physicals worked, and we found exactly how the DOT drivers did theirs. I set it all up with urgent care, and then so anybody that we hire even in the future, or anything we want to do as far as testing and stuff, they'll head there. If we have an account with them, and then they email me all the results, and I have all those results. They both passed. We've done 4 trips to the food pantry. I'm a little frustrated. I'm not real surprised. We haven't had anybody go there yet. I did put a flyer up over there. I asked a few other 2 actually places, and don't want to mention them because I don't want to make them feel bad, but they would rather we not come and do that. But I'm still trying to figure out maybe ways to do that. And we're still doing it, because when we say we're going to do it, we're going to do it. And again, it's not costing us, it's a grant, and it's out moving. One thing I am very proud of, we had several trips, regular trips, but we had a trip last week with Faith in Action, and they had 10 seniors. We actually picked them up at their homes and then brought them to an event at Faith in Action. And they had lunch and everything, and we took them back to their house. And they were very happy. And we plan on doing that more regularly.
Can we expand that to our seniors that can't make it up here?
Right, that was my next thing on the thing. So Collinsville has a shuttle, a lot of people know that, right? That you can call the Collinsville shuttle
Got
bus.
towed today.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Hey, I saw
Okay,
it.
well, we can really fill in then. You know what, I'll contact the city tomorrow and see if, I'm glad that you said that.
I don't know what
See
was wrong, but it was being towed.
if they're having a problem, we can, tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think we have a trip until Thursday. So, and we have the driver. But the point is, I really want to, and I'm gonna make this a priority of myself to really reach out to Maryville residents and do some advertising in Maryville, because Maryville is a part of the Collinsville Township, and they can't call the Collinsville shuttle to get that, you know? And so that's really where I want to, I don't care if it's just a couple of people. It has to start somewhere. We have the bus, and I appreciate you guys pushing me on this, because we
There's a
have
fair
it.
amount of people up there that are too old to be driving themselves around.
And I would love for them to come in here, and so that's really where I need to focus at, for the day-to-day on the Volkswagen. So, do you guys have anything that you want to bring up, you know, that any ideas, anything that I should be working on with that?
I would advertise at the Maryville post office.
I can do that. I'm gonna talk with the mayor as well and see if we can put it on the billboard, you know, out there. So, anyway, but if you ever have anything, shoot me an email, text me, whatever, so.
I don't
yeah,
want
go
to
ahead.
put Scott on, there was something going on with Thanksgiving meals. What was going on? I don't want to put you on the spot, but.
My understanding is they're trying to put something together. I thought you said next Tuesday for Thanksgiving meals, and then I also know that they always do the toy event, and that's like the 21st of December. So they're gonna be looking for food for meals for that as well as toys for that. And they normally do, like 2 days prior, they'll go ahead and put the, have everyone come and get it all packed and ready to go. I heard they were trying to put together something for Thanksgiving.
But maybe have deliveries and things, is that what?
Correct.
Okay.
She also mentioned the scouts this weekend. They're looking at doing the food drive with the scouts. And she said they needed volunteers from like 10:30 until 11:30-ish time frame to help them get that all sorted through. They got 5 packs coming in and providing food, so they're gonna be pretty busy
Good
this
stuff.
morning.
Okay.
The food pantry can use all the help they can get. They're low this year. The
Okay.
demand has been insane this year.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll,
Yeah.
okay. And then again, anything else, and I'm gonna reach out to Derek Jackson, actually before this evening, and just text him and see if there's any problem with the bus. Moving forward, new business. This is our, I'm gonna have Kai Redmond. He does all of our casualty insurance, and he's here tonight to present what we're gonna be looking at for the next year as far as insurance.
Thanks, Derek, the board. Kai Redmond, Redmond Insurance Agency. First and foremost, as I always start out, a sincere appreciation for your business over the years, and it's my hope and intention to continue to run that business for the coming year and future years, but definitely for the coming
We
year.
appreciate it too, so.
Appreciate it. I have with me, actually, it's my son tonight, you know, to see Pop in action, so, so don't
So we have to give you a
throw me
hard
under the
drive?
bus, man, yeah. He's gonna drive that slow a little bit.
So you want a curveball?
Yeah. I don't wanna look all, to make sure I'm professional, know what I'm talking about. So, all right. Okay, so I already gave you my handout. I definitely will not be as long-winded as the first year I was up here. But I'm just gonna point this first page out to you and go right to the boxes, go right to the money, okay? So, okay, so let's go to the top box. EXP, that's expiring. So that's where you're at right now, your current policy period, which again is 12/1/22 through 12/1/22/3. Next to your right is your renewal. So that's next year, okay, starting 12/1. And then the difference in premium between the two, and then the percent difference, okay? So then let's go down the left-hand side. You see, as I've told you in the past, you have two policies. You have a work comp, that's an employee injury, okay? And then there's all the rest. That's buildings, autos, equipment, liability, professional liability, everything. That's under that P&C, okay, PC. So you can see under expiring, last year, your premium, see the total?
130,
Yeah, okay. See your renewal?
yep.
Okay. And you see the difference. And then you see the percent difference.
Is it okay that we say it out loud?
Up to you,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's three, just for anybody else, it's just a 3% increase. Am I looking at that correctly?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. And very honestly, there's two things driving the premium. Your PNC is up, so you see from PNC you're expiring. You see what it is? Again, PNC from 51. You see that, and then to the right, and that's because of property assessments. Okay, not property assessments.
Where's that? The value.
The value, the replacement cost appraisal, okay? As you know, insurance in general, everybody sitting in the room, insurance rates are going through the roof. Right now is the craziest time that we've seen even since the 80s, as far as property rates specifically, as well as auto rates. I mean, they're just increasing exponentially. So you have a professional appraisal done each year, and that appraisal, they changed companies, and so the appraisal went up significantly. I'm gonna do that below. But anyway, I just want to let you know that's what's driving the PNC policy, is the property rates going up. And then your work comp has gone down a little bit. I'll go through that, okay? So they offset one another. Y'all have done great as far as claims the last number of years. I mean, squeaky clean, and I've got that in here for you, okay? So, again, a 6% decrease on the work comp, and then a 17% on the PNC, you can see. And then down below, the buildings, total buildings, those are all the structures, okay? Your present values total, okay, you see the buildings before, meaning right now, and then after the assessment, okay? The assessment was done this summer, okay? And it went from that number down to the after, and that's significant, okay?
I'm missing where are we still on the first page?
Second box.
Second,
First box.
first page,
Second box.
gotcha, before,
Under buildings and straight down.
oh, from 4 million to 7 million.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's a jaw dropper, right?
Wow.
So a difference, an increase, the next row down, an increase in that, 2.6. Or a 60%. And I'm like, again, I'm not a professional property appraiser. And that's one of the reasons why I use this company, is because if you have a total loss, let's say tornado comes through,
Right.
you have insured for the proper appraised value. Well, they switch companies on that. They've recently determined, this was a couple years ago, that things were underinsured, undervalued. They would have covered it, but then with the rates have gone up significantly, so the appraisal, and I was notified this summer of that. So when you look at it, so I've got that number for you, okay, as far as the premium costs, I'll go through that. The contents, that's all the stuff, the items inside the buildings. You can see the difference there. That's the second column, before, after, and the increase. TIV is total insured value. That's the next, so that's just buildings and contents together. And then the count is the number. So there's just one new storage building from last year.
It's just an add-on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the add-on.
Yeah.
So, okay. I apologize. Thank you.
That's all right.
So that's right. So now, all right, so basically, I'm going back to the top. Your workers' compensation is taking a 6% decrease, or the $5,100. This tremendously helps the balance, and this is actually coming from them. in an email. Helps out the property appraisal this year. The appraisal summary below increased the building values by 58%, or the 2.8. So there's a lot more coverage. That's where the P&C increase is coming from. The P&C, some real quick points. Your autos went up by 1. Now you have and these are all licensed vehicles and trailers. So
I will be getting rid of the one that it's taking the place of. We're still waiting to get the bed on it.
Okay.
So as soon as the bed's put on, the other one's already sold to
Okay.
a township, so.
So let us know, let
Yeah.
Mary know, and then as you guys communicate, and we'll take
Yeah,
that off.
so that'll go down.
Okay. So auto's up by 1 at that amount right there you see next to it. Cyber, remember how the big issue cyber liability was?
Yeah.
We renewed, no issues, you have $1 million of coverage, there's a lot built into that $1 million of coverage at the same rate, so that's good.
Okay,
Just
yeah.
give you a heads up. Talked about the appraisal in the buildings, and then the mobile equipment, is one item, it's a 2023 excavator. In the work comp, your rate reduced specifically, I'll show you this on street and road. And so it went from 9.6 for every $100 of payroll down to 8.7. So that was a significant decrease, as well as the assessor's office rate went down, okay? Last item I'm going to show you is your experience modifier went down by 3%. Basically, it's you against the industry average. Industry average is 1.0 in years past. I told you that, because it's an average number. You had a number of work comp claims, and they were heavier claims, but these were from a number of years ago. So
They start dropping off.
You're in your last year on that. Okay,
Yeah.
so your rate right now is gone down by 3%, so your premium on work comp is going down 3%. But you're still 8% higher than the industry average, okay? And so next year should look good, okay? Assuming no growth.
Right.
Okay, all right, next page.
Isn't that fascinating?
I'm gonna pick this up a lot quicker, folks, because I know this is basically, all this is doing for you, and it shows me, is the left-hand side of this sheet is all your property and casualty, P&C, everything but work comp, every line of business in there, your auto physical damage, APD, auto liability, general liability, it's all your claims from each year, all the claim information. How many claims, what's paid, what's in reserve, and the total amount reserved and incurred. And you just look at the top of each column for the last few years, and everything's zeros. You know, so it's great. Derek, I'm just looking at the second page.
Back here.
Just turn it sideways, yeah. Left-hand side of the page.
Is that stretched out 6 years? Is that what that is when they calculate that?
It's really 5, but I like to look back.
You show 6.
Yeah, I showed 6 years. So, for that number, for that 1.08 number, Jim, is that what you're asking about?
Yeah, I was just curious, because, I see in out year 3, 4, and 5, those were the larger ones, or 4 and 5.
Yeah, you're getting
4 and 6.
that 180, 663, see that 2019,
Yeah.
under work comp, okay, right-hand side of the report, the year you go down, 19 through 20,
Right.
you see the incurred all the way to the right. That number is gonna fall off next year, because they go back on that, your industry average, they go back 2, 3, and 4 years. And so that 4th year always falls off.
So next year, that should go down significantly.
Yes, that should go down significantly. There's a big formula to it. I don't dictate it, the insurance company doesn't dictate it. But that's where, yeah, it should go down significantly. So anyway, that's your premium, your claims. And then this little box I put in here is just so you can see what your premium has been over the years. So you can see for the years, first column, then you see your total premium, and that's premium total, everything together, your work comp and your property and casualty. And your total losses. So you can see what that total has been since 2017, 2018. You see the 659, right, total.
Mm-hmm.
Then you see what's been paid out, claims.
Mm-hmm.
And you see your loss ratio is 59%. So a lot of people assume, and I've said this to you before, a lot of people assume, hey, we're paying an X number of dollars in premium, and then we're paying out X number of dollars in claims. And actually, their break-even point is right around that number right there that you're seeing it, because they have overhead, they have a lot of expenses in addition to, they pay for property appraisals, they have free legal fees that they do free training, free OSHA training. So the point is, in this fund is, you're pretty much breaking even, but the last number of years, look at your zeros and total incurred.
Right.
That's where you're looking good, okay? So let's knock on wood on that. But, anyway, just to show you where you're at, history of claims, okay?
That's interesting. So they always want to be, what, between 55 and 60%, right?
Just to help everybody, I mean, insurance, a lot of people think for, you know, I paid in $100 in premium, and they paid out $99 in claims, so they're making a dollar on me, right? They're making money.
Right.
It's,
Still a
they have
business.
overhead, they've got payroll, they've got expenses, they pay out claims, so really the break-even point in general terms is 50 cents. So the point is you pay $1,000 in premium, and they paid you $500 in claims, they're pretty much breaking even on you. So if they pay for a couple of roofs over the last number of years, how long is it gonna take for the insurance company to recoup
Right.
on those roofs? It's a long time, so I'm just talking in general terms. Next page, folks, is your workers' compensation. Again, I'm gonna speed up on this, just real quick. This is your page where you have your different classifications. Streets and road, the first one. And this is where I just sort of made two circles, those rates went down. See the circles I put
Yep.
in there? So that's good, okay? And then handwritten numbers are everything from the prior year, okay? Just so you can see. And then experience modifier down below, see where I circled that? That's that number you compare to your peers. And that's where you're above industry average at 1.08. It's gone down 3%, which is 3% savings. We're really hoping to see that number dive next year after that,
Drop off.
yeah, that drop off of that fourth year claim. Okay?
Okay.
So you can see where your renewals at the very bottom, total annual premium, were versus where it was at last year, okay? All right. And then
So
this,
that's the renewal number only for the.
workers' compensation
Workers'
policy,
comp.
Jim. Yeah.
Okay.
Just the work comp. And that first page, that number transpires over to the, better transpire over there. Yeah. It's the very first page of the work comp on the expiring premium versus renewal. And then your last page is, I just simply gave you a list of all your, this is all your scheduled autos, and anything with the license, including trailers. And, only item, there's a new item at the very bottom, 2024 International. Okay? So that's the only new item this year. Next page is simply the total value and the handwritten of what the value was last year. And so you see that. That's just by, it's just adding that one item. And the next page is your description of all your properties. I just point you to this is where, again, at the top it says property schedules, see that? It's all your locations.
Yes.
Okay. Go over to the right, building value, see my handwritten note,
Mhm.
60%,
60%.
40%.
Mhm.
That's where it's just these values, and again, that's a third party, it's not the insurance, they use a third party to assess those values. So if you have a total loss, it's the structures and stuff or the items inside. And your deductible sitting at 1,000, okay? And then the next page is a continuation of those, okay? The very, after that is inland marine. And pretty much all that is Kathy, with the roads and bridges. And no changes really there, other than the very back page, turn over on the back side, is just simply addition of two new items, mower and excavator. So other than that, not a lot of changes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I appreciate all this you put together because it's easy to understand.
it kinda gets a little boring, you know, so.
Well, I mean, it's,
I have a question, okay,
Yes, ma'am.
maybe I'm just ignorant in the subject, but how come work comp is out there such a big, are we waiting for somebody to get hurt? It seems like work
Meaning-
comp is over here, it gets a big percentage.
You mean of costs?
Yeah,
Yeah, the exposure,
Cause I don't think we have many.
done very well the last number of years.
yeah, so, yeah,
Are we
like
waiting for somebody to get hurt?
No, like he explained, after 4 years, then it drops off, you know, so 4 years ago, there was a claim, there was an accident.
There are a few claims, and there were soft tissue injuries, and it warranted, you know, that a lot of medical in that, and
Yeah.
so it takes some years for those to come off. And for the last few years, it's gone well, so we wanna see the premium start to go down, because you have to pay premium based on your exposure. For example, the folks out road and bridges out physically working outside, and this is any company, the premium, the rate for that's a lot higher than a clerical, like sitting in an office. And so the more exposure you have, the more payroll, the more people,
Yeah.
and the more physical work they're doing, like a laborer or roofer specifically, the higher the cost of that insurance.
And it's an industry set standard, it's not like he pulls a number out, do you know what I mean? That
Right,
it's statewide,
right.
yeah.
Good question, though.
But I appreciate you too, because a lot of things, I didn't understand that, just for the public to understand, not all insurance companies can give us these policies. Can you explain that a little bit? Because I went and I kind of shopped around, and it's like, no, we don't do that, we don't do that.
And municipalities, specifically, it's a very small market. Markets are insurance providers, right? So you can go home auto, you can go a lot of different places, right? But for municipalities, there's only a few markets are insurance providers. And so you can't go down the street basically and have somebody bid this.
Right.
There's so much to this, all the liabilities specifically that the township incurs for all the exposures they have. So it's very specialized and very unique. So when I did this, I was like, I'm not doing this because I'm local and I want to make sure I line up with the right company. So I got to try to keep my pencil sharp. But at the same time, if you guys have a bad claim or claims, I got to make sure you have the right coverage. So that's where having the right insurance company in the right market. And so it's a balance for me to keep the pencil sharp because I want to keep the business, but I don't want to get a call and say, hey, we missed something or coverage, you're not having the right coverage. I don't want to have my name on it when my sign's right on the road.
And I just want everybody to know, I really appreciate Kai, because whenever I have a question, reach out, you're right on it. Usually you answer the phone and get right back with me. Even if it was an event that we're having here, like I called you a few weeks ago, or a new driver, I send them all the information, so you're really great to work
Yeah,
with.
think
Still,
about it.
hold on, does the board have any questions?
No, I think I'm.
Are we good? Okay.
Long and short of it, it's 3%
Yes,
increase.
that's
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah.
on page one, the new number is 134,380, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay,
And I failed to mention, you got the bonds, you have the two bonds, we have those, one for 3.8, Derek for you, for
Mhm.
Township, and then Derek for your Road and Bridge, 2.5, and the cost of those.
right, they're about seven, altogether, I think mine's 7.
17, 18.
I think I paid 10.
Right, it's 17, it's really annoying.
It's a lot.
Right.
Because when we first saw it, I'm like, wow, you know, and it's not driven by us.
It's not driven by me either, is it?
No, it's not
Okay.
driven by, apparently it's statute or whatever.
Like, do they look at me and think that I'm gonna run off with all the money?
Right, here's the breakdown, if you wanna tell them, and I don't care if you tell them what the breakdown is. If you wanna know what the.
Those from Mary.
Yeah,
Well, you're talking total premium, this isn't bonds. So
no.
this is something totally
This is
different.
total premium for what we're paying tonight.
Are you saying, do you have the breakdown between?
Yeah.
Oh. what
Yeah,
is-
I do have that over there, but thank you, same thing.
Yeah, and we're not voting on that tonight, we're just voting on the whole.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, well, I mean,
Thank
the
you.
breakdown is the breakdown, but.
Yeah, did Mary get that to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Do you
Yeah.
want me to read it?
Yeah, we'll figure all that out.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
So,
And then we took care of the 3 notary bonds, because that was, Mr. Paletti asked, when we took care of, and those are incidental. $54.56 apiece, $54.56 for 3 notary bonds, because things have changed with that.
I see.
So you had 3 people bonded at a $5,000 limit, so we took care of that part, so appreciate it.
thank you,
Any other questions?
that's good.
Appreciate your business.
All
Thank you
right.
so much, folks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Okay, with that, any motions?
Motion to approve resolution 2023 R15 in regards to our property and casualty insurance.
Great motion. Okay,
That was a great.
no other question? Roll call.
Trustee Ball?
Yes.
Gunther?
Yes.
Sewell?
Yes.
Stewart?
Yes.
Supervisor Cox?
Yes.
Thank you, appreciate it.
What's today's date, 11/14?
It is.
All right. Next up is the tax levies, and this is all you need right here, Kai, right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna pass this around. If you wanna jump out here, you can. We don't have too much longer, but I just want to get that to you. Thank you. Okay, our tax levies, I'm sure you guys got these in your packet. They've been posted, and the reason we got to get these out is so they have to be out for 30 days. And I actually saw Jim up here Saturday, he was posting them, so appreciate that, Jim. And so on, I'll just start with mine, and let me just say that overall, there's a 0% increase. There's no decrease or increase, okay, in the overall tax levy. Yeah, it was in the,
So you'd have to compare it to last time.
right. So just to start off, I'm very happy and proud of the Collinsville Township for this. The levy, again, same amount that we levied, like I said, when I look back 25 years ago. I did, however, have to shift some numbers this year. This board, when we started, at a lot of funds, we had way too much money. Okay, in some funds, we didn't have enough. But I really feel confident after this next year that we'll start being able to levy. It will mirror what we're spending. But we kind of have to get it all in. You know, the first year, we had two audits all come in at once. And then we had too much money in insurance, so we couldn't levy. And now we don't have enough money, you know, so it just kind of has to even out. And so what I did is I took some monies from other line items and added them to other line items. But I feel very comfortable. I want everybody to know this because I went through and I even copied all of our CDs. I looked at our cash on hand, and we're fine. I want everybody to feel comfortable with that. They see a low number, and they're like, oh, we're good. And I have to give credit to the previous administration. They had plenty of money.
Yeah.
They had plenty of money. So,
That's not always a good thing, right?
Right.
That's the point.
Exactly.
We want to be on a run rate.
Yeah, it's not our job.
A good thing.
Yeah, well, but it's not our money. It's
Right,
it's
that's
the
what I mean.
the folks' money, and it's so we're not a bank to sit here and so right, you know. But it's great because this township doesn't have to borrow any money. We just have to be responsible. I think everybody sitting at this table is very responsible, and we think about the ideas, what we want to do, and what the taxpayers want of us. And so the levy's the exact same as last year on mine. Kathy, do you want to hit yours or?
Basically, mine only went up in the insurance fund. Our insurance fund was way overfunded when I got into office, so I put that out at zero until
Right.
it got down to the point where I have to put money back into the fund in order to pay the bills. So, last year I put 50 into it, I'm putting 50 more. 100,000 should cover it. As long as there's money left next year, then, hopefully if our insurance goes down a little bit more, I won't have to raise that again. But if I do, it'd be slight, you know. I haven't raised any of my other funds, and I don't think any of them have been raised in 8 years, so anyway, except for the audit, we took that down because that was overfunded, and now it's right where it should be, but I didn't do anything with that this year. So it was just the insurance that had to be brought back into where it needed to be. But just enough to pay it every year is all that I need in that.
And that was the same thing I had to add
Right.
to my insurance as well. And
Right.
and a lot of it has to do with when the rates come out and when our levies are due. It's like the same time, and it's right when I got in, it looked like we had way too much. And looking back, we probably didn't, but it's, and then I levied too little the first year, and so, anyway.
Right, so,
All right.
that's it.
Yeah, I'm learning. So this is just out there for 30 days. This isn't what we're voting on tonight. If over the next 30 days, anybody in the public or anybody, has any problems with it, they can bring it to the board before our next meeting. And we'll actually have a separate little meeting on that. And then, so we will start that at 6:30? Is that it?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's just our regular meeting. That's the budget hearing.
Yeah, we
I'm
don't
confused.
have a hearing for the.
Okay,
No.
levy's just regular.
The
Okay.
only reason we would if we increased the levy by more than 5%, then we'd have
Right.
to have a true taxation
Right.
hearing.
So, good there. Okay, next is the approval of contracts with the Laborers International Union of North America, Local 44. We added both of the contracts in there, and really, they're a lot of the wordage, verbiage and everything is the same. It's just some different increases in wages. And so they just said that it's best to have the board's approval on those. I do want to let everybody know that I asked our lawyer, and she said it was fine to go on and do the back pay and everything. So that's all been paid out, and that was on the last, on your packet of bills. So anyway, does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, all right, accept a motion.
Motion that we approve the contract for Laborers International Union of North America, Local 44.
Okay,
And I'll second.
perfect. Roll call?
Trustee Gunther?
Yes.
Sewell?
Yes.
Stewart?
Yes.
Ball?
Yes.
Supervisor Cox?
Yes. Okay, lastly, discussion regarding the Madco Discovery Zone property tax abatement. This is a little complicated, so just to kind of help us out, if our attorney, Bill Roker, I'll hand you my mic if you'd like to, I'm just out of mics, I need one more mic, it's nothing against you.
That's all right. So I don't know if everybody got the cover letter that came along with this that kind of explained the project. It looks like basically what they're proposing is there's a new development that's going to go in, and they want to abate the property tax increases that would come about normally for a development, because right now it's vacant land. Normally, the property would be reassessed and they would be paying that higher amount of taxes. Basically what this is it's asking the Road and Bridge Department and the township to agree to abate and not accept basically the tax increases that would otherwise normally occur.
Is it like a TIF zone then, or, and how many years?
It's a little bit different than a TIF. It has sort of a similar effect. This is a 10-year tax abatement, and it kind of stair steps up as it goes along. I think for the first, 7 years, they get 100% of the rebate, and then they pay, looks like they'll pay 30% in year 8, 60% in year 9, and then 90% in year 10, and they'll be paying 100% of those increases after that. And the idea basically is that it helps incentivize development on what is basically vacant land. And they included some projections in there, which even if they're especially optimistic, you can see the differences in the amount of taxes that would be collected if it's sat with no improvements versus letting them have this abatement for 10 years and then collecting after that. You're going to make the township and the Road and Bridge Fund is going to collect a lot more by agreeing to this abatement than they would have gotten otherwise. And it looks like it's something that all of the different interest holders need to approve. I think that it can go on without that, but the risk is if somebody backs out of it and says they don't want to do it, the development can go away. It's why the county's writing to us and asking us to approve this more or less.
Where's it at?
It looked like it was like
All right.
behind like where
If you-
Culver's is that what?
All right, if you go down, you know where the post office is at down there? I think it's that property across the street.
Across the street.
Between there and 255.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just vacant land now. and
It's
So
not by
it-
anything we need to be concerned with contamination or whatever.
And the other thing is that this is gonna be, from our perspective, it's going to be annexed into the city.
Right, yeah.
When it's actually developed, so,
Right, so as for Road and Bridge, that means it's nothing because the city's gonna annex it in.
yeah,
Right.
so. It's just,
Checkbox, right? Do we agree with?
yeah, and the thing is, you'll get the assessed value that was in effect prior to this development happening. You will still get those same tax revenues for the next 10 years. It's just the increase that would come into effect due to the assessed building going higher is what
Right.
we're abating.
So if it remained undeveloped for the next
We're
10
still the
years,
same.
we still get the same amount of money?
Yeah, the only reason that it would make any sense to deny something like this is if you thought somebody else would come in and develop it and not ask for an abatement. but.
Nobody's,
Right.
you're right.
It's vacant land all around there, I don't think there's,
And
it's a hot.
the difference
area.
between this and a TIF is, the TIF is, the money is held for uses specific to that property, whereas what we're doing is we're abating the taxes, but the money, when it does come in, is not earmarked for anything.
Yeah.
It's still our money to spend.
There's no taxing district, there's
Right.
no,
Yeah. So they just don't
this-
pay the
you can't-
taxes on the, right.
The
No
increase.
breaks.
Right,
Right,
the increase. Yeah, I like the idea, actually.
Yeah.
The only person that possibly would not like it would be the school, but when you think about it, you're not actually building any homes, you're not contributing any kids, so that doesn't really add to their cost. But they have a lot more dollars to lose than, I mean, for us, it's not a lot of money.
No.
Yeah.
Chicken feed.
Well, we're not really losing anything
No.
anyway for the first 10 years, right?
Well, you would be, if somebody went down there and built a whole bunch of buildings and the taxes went up, we'd be getting more
Sure.
money. So we'd be basically saying now, well, we're not gonna accept that, we're gonna let you give that to them as an incentive to build, so.
Yeah.
It doesn't really cost us much. So what we have to do is, we're gonna have to, if we wanna move forward, we'll have to pass this resolution, which we don't have ready now, but we'll bring it, I don't think there's any rush, we'll bring it to the next meeting and put it on the agenda.
Yeah, they included some samples,
Yeah.
and
So I'll
sample
let you,
resolutions.
I'll let you do that. We can probably do one resolution to include both the road and, or do two, whatever.
If I'm reading this correctly, the most we're gonna give up is $4,000 in a year. Correct?
It was a really low amount like that. I don't know.
It's,
I don't
well, I'm
remember.
looking here, it says,
What it was.
$10, $10, $10, $10, $10, and then 1,000, and 3,000, and 4,000. That would be, is that our tax, the amount that comes into us?
That might be what it is right now. you
Yeah,
know.
so.
Right, there's
we'll
nothing
get
down there.
$10 we've been getting,
Yeah,
and then in the 8th year, we'll get 1,000, in the 9th year, we'll get 3,000, and the 10th year, we'll get 4,000. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
it's only positive for us.
Right,
according
in the
to
long
what
term.
I'm reading.
Right, hopefully somebody does develop it,
yeah.
you know, so that's good for everybody.
Hopefully.
Unless they strike oil there. And,
Yeah, exactly, but, you know.
It's always that.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll have that on the next agenda.
We'll slant drill.
Last thing is, just my comments.
On the other side of the highway.
I contacted Good Energy about our current supplier. We had a one-year contract, and I had talked to you before about that, and so we tried it out, and I thought everything was good. Again, didn't notice any changes. The bills looked exactly the same. But they actually were able to go with a different supplier, and anyway, our rate should go down about 10%, which would be overall 15% cheaper than Ameren's rate. So hopefully that'll help out a little bit. The new LED lights might help a little bit, you know, but just rates are high right now on power. this is just a few things that I put, but just adding.
So are you renewing a contract?
I already did, yes.
For how long?
For, this one was for 2 years,
Okay.
actually. Yeah. That's how they were able to get that better rate. Contacted Cummins and scheduled our annual generator oil and change service and everything on the big generator, so if everything goes down, we have a spot there. Kathy, Pam, and I met with Marilyn at my office regarding the new health insurance rates and coverage for the township, and we were able to lock in the same plan as the previous years. Other plans we looked at the end, the increase, the value was very minimal as far as you didn't get as much, and the rates were actually way higher.
Yeah.
So we got the best plan for our money, and what was it, 3% raise?
I believe, it might have been 5%.
Yeah, between 3 and 5.
She said most was at 12, so we were.
You're right. Yeah, the market was at 12, we were at between 3 and 5, right in there, so
Yeah.
I was really happy with that. And that's for all of our employees, for their health insurance. And so we didn't change anybody's plan, and it's a nice plan. Lastly, I want to mention, and I should have had it out here, but Saturday the 28th, the township had a space for the chili cook-off. Several assisted and handed out candy and served chili. I know some of you are Carla, Irene, Karaoke Kathy, my mom. But Matt, you were there, and it was a chilly day. I also want to thank our handyman, Mike Moore, who went above and beyond. He set up, he took down, he served from start to finish out there. And I want to thank Jim and his friend John, who cooked the chili. The township booth won first place for the best decorated booth, and I was really proud of the Collinsville Township on the 28th. So I appreciate everybody's effort and volunteers and stuff, so thank you. With that, that's all I have. Anybody guys have any questions? Not? Motion to adjourn?
I'll motion we adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Meeting adjourned.